This here's from People. It's brand new, and they're writing about Johnny. Traditionally, they don't like Johnny so much, so it's kind of interesting they're releasing this now. Johnny Depp was completely freaked out by heartthrob status as young actor, people would whisper. Let's see what we got. Johnny Depp is looking back on the amount of media attention he received as a young man in a new documentary about his frequent collaborator, Tim Burton. Okay, so that's why Tim Burton's documentary is coming out featuring some things about Johnny. In the second episode of filmmaker Tara Wood's four-part untitled documentary series on Beetlejuice, director Burton, 66, Depp 61, admitted he felt uncomfortable with his celebrity status after footage of Burton showed the director describing Depp as very much not the sex symbol he was portrayed as in the media. I was completely freaked out by fame, Depp says in the documentary. Paparazzi would take pictures of me, people would whisper and point their finger and stuff. I felt like sort of this raw nerve on display. Well, I mean, I'm sure most people do feel weird about the transition from unknown to fame. Depp says elsewhere in his interviews for the series that he beat out Tom Cruise among other actors for the title role in 1990's Edward Scissorhands, and that he saw a quick kinship form with Burton when they first met to discuss the movie. Alright, I mean, seems like just a regular plain old article about Johnny so far, but I've covered dozens from people that were very, very pro Amber. What I first noticed the first time we met was he wasn't saying very many words, Depp said. Burton would begin a sentence, and I would go, "Oh yeah," and then we would talk about Boris Karloff or something. We related on a lot of levels. After about 3.5 hours of a really great yak with the guy, I still thought, no chance, man, no chance. He recalled of vying for the Edward Scissorhands role. I can't really imagine Tom Cruise in that role whatsoever. Like, not even a little tiny bit. Edward Scissorhands ultimately proved a hit for Burton and Depp, and the pair went to collaborate on movies like 1994's Ed Wood, Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, Sweeney Todd. Yeah, we knew. And they say the character was based on Tim Burton's own personality. Can't quite recall hearing that, but alright. And they quote Johnny again. I was cast in the film, but I was stepping into a kind of family that I hadn't been totally brought into yet, Depp said. I was absolutely convinced that I was blowing it. Tim had rehearsed everyone else in the cast. Everyone. Not me. He didn't rehearse me. He was excluding me from the cast and crew, isolating me. When Depp eventually realized Burton intentionally separated him from the movie's cast during rehearsals to help him understand the loneliness his character experiences, he remembers his initial reaction to working on the movie as a frightening experience. Alright, kinda interesting, but I gotta say, they're pretty much copying something word for word. And they quote Johnny again. It was scary. I was uber paranoid, Depp recalled. Why is Burton not rehearsing me? Maybe he trusts me. No, he doesn't. He doesn't trust you. What, are you nuts? He's gonna cast someone else, man. And they have some info in the documentary. Alright, here's what I was thinking. This one guy here, people, Tommy McErdle, writes positive about Johnny, but pretty much everyone else there doesn't. So it's kind of interesting. I guess whoever the editor is there lets this guy write positive, but yet also lets so many other people write negative. I'm not exactly sure why this documentary is coming out now about Edward Scissorhands. Seems a bit random, but okay, I guess more power to it. Johnny News is very slow these days, so figured I'd cover this. It's kind of old, but not old. If you're not subscribed here, consider it. Doing pop culture, entertainment, all things Johnny Depp, Meghan Markle, Blake Lively, whatever comes up. If you don't subscribe, I'll be sad, but I'll get over it. See you next time.